Okay. Now, after talking about many aspects of cyclone, my dear friends, what I'll do, some of the terminologies I'll just give you. Terminologies. Maybe I'll call it as do it yourself or find it yourself. Okay. Just note down these terminologies. Most of them I have taken from the contemporary issues and current issues. Right. Number one, just search for this term called as recurving cyclones. Recurving cyclones. Maybe I'll give you a word regarding it. Only thing is that I may not explain in detail. See, cyclone generally has a path. What is a path if you ask me? Normally, if I have a cyclone, maybe I'll take this Indian Ocean, right? Indian Ocean region, right? If at all, if I have a cyclone which is occurring in the month of October and November, generally what happens is cyclone will be moving towards poles, and it will be moving towards what? West. Okay. This is where the normally, say, for example, I'll be having the movement of cyclone as such. If at all, if the cyclone is happening in the month of October, November, it will be either moving right towards poles and it will be moving towards what? West. It means if I have a cyclone occurring in Bay of Bengal region in the month of October and November, this cyclone will more likely will be entering which coast? The east coast of India, right? Whereas if I have the cyclone occurring in the month of May and June, right? Again, they'll be moving towards poles and they'll be moving towards what? East. So the same cyclone in Bay of Bengal region in the month of May, June, right, may not enter east coast of India. Rather, it will be entering what? Maybe it will be entering Bangladesh, or it will be entering Myanmar, or it will be entering what? Thailand. Okay. This is how it goes, right? Whenever this path changes, you call them as what? Recurving cyclones. Okay. So if it moves in different direction, after registering the initial direction, you call them as what? Recurving cyclone. Okay. Just note it. I'm just giving you a hint. Otherwise, you just know about the same in detail. Okay. I repeat. Number one, I have just given this term called as recurving cyclone. One more term I'll give you. Just note it down. You call them as what? Fujiwara effect. Either you call them as Fujiwara effect, or sometimes you also call them as what? Dancing cycle. Fujiwara effect and dancing cycle. So what is this dancing cyclone? Sometimes very technically you call them as what? Binary interaction. If you have two cyclones occurring in similar regions, very close to each other, right? If at all, if it is moving, say for example, almost towards each other, what happens? Both the centers of the cyclone may revolve around a common point. Right? Maybe satellite image, if you're analyzing, it appears as though the cyclone is not, say for example, the cyclone is not moving in one direction. Rather, it will be somewhere it appears that these two cyclones are dancing along with each other. Okay. You call them as what? Fujiwara effect. Very common in the Japanese coast. Or sometimes you call them as what? Dancing cycle. Okay. So two terms I have just given. Okay. Kindly also look for this Saffir-Simpson scale of classification of cycle. Saffir-Simpson scale of classification of cycle. Maybe this classification is not applicable to Indian Ocean region, but North Atlantic and North Pacific Ocean, or make it very simple, in North America, this classification is somewhere popular. Right? So what is this classification? Normally, you will be classifying this cyclone under different category. Maybe you will be coming across category 1 cyclone, category 2 cyclone, right? Maximum what we have till today is what? Category 5 cyclone. Okay. So what velocity of wind speed is categorized as each and every number of categories? Somewhere I have to understand. Okay. So just kindly look for Saffir-Simpson scale. So let me also add a point. As of today, how many category of cyclones are there in Saffir-Simpson scale, if you ask me? As I said, they have only 5 categories. Okay. Only 5 categories of cyclones are there. Okay. Now, along with this Saffir-Simpson scale, what do? You also add one information which is there in news. You call them as what? Category 6 cyclone. Category 6 cyclone. Officially, category 6 is not added, but it is under discussion whether this category 6 to be added or not. Just it is under discussion. See, normally, when talk about cyclone, even definition of the cyclone, we said, if at all the wind speed has a sustained wind speed of how many kilometers per hour? 63 kilometers per hour. You call them as what? Cyclones, right? When I just talk about category 6 cyclones, recently, somewhere we started experiencing high velocity cyclones, right? There are cyclones which has exceeded the speed of what? 300 kilometers per hour. So if at all, if you have a sustained wind velocity of more than 309 kilometers per hour, such cyclones may be classified as category 6 number of cyclones. Again, I'm telling you, as of today, we do not have any classification called as category 6. It is futuristic under discussion. Okay. Fine. Recurving cyclone, dancing cyclone, Saffir-Simpson scale, I have just given it. Extension of Saffir-Simpson scale, I am giving you category 6 cyclone. And finally, again, very important, classification of cyclone in Indian Ocean region by IMD, Indian Meteorological Department. Very important. Very important. See, small variations here and there you'll be finding, right? But still, largely you look for this classification. Under what condition we call this circulation as cyclone? When it becomes severe cyclonic storm and when it becomes super cyclones. The velocity is very, very high. The Indian Ocean classification, we call these cyclones as what? Super cyclones. I repeat again. Classification of cyclone in Indian Ocean region by Indian Meteorological Department based on velocity.
Veranda IAS, where your dream becomes reality.